This video is not for whales and dolphins. It's for you, because you are just like me. Average Light Gamer here, and today is Zhu Yuan release day. And I guess the first big question we need to answer is, did we overhype Zhu Yuan? No, we did not. I don't even know how I'm supposed to start explaining that. Anyway, we'll keep this loose and fast, but we'll cover Zhu Yuan's value now that we have her, and I'll cover how I'm going to be building her so that you feel prepared for your build. We'll cover skill priority, her drive discs, her teams, Bangboos, and we'll make it fast. Build guides don't need to be 20 minutes. I already made a video about her Wenjin, so I'll drop that at the end if you're interested. Firstly though, let's address the potential overhype and value, as I've been out here making my House of Yuan propaganda and putting all my eggs in Zhu's basket, if you know what I'm saying. And now that we have Zhu in hand, how does she stack up against the other premium DPS unit, Ellen? Good question, because I don't have Ellen. But there's still some stuff I want to talk about, so I'll launch into it. Now, as Ellen levels, her core skill enhancements boosts her crit rate, but as Zhu Yuan levels, that also boosts her crit damage, and there's actually a huge difference. Now, what this means is that it's easier to initially build Ellen, because if you need more crit rate, then you can just level that up, and then your drive disc can do the rest of the work. Now, the thing about crit rate is it caps at 100%. You can't crit more than 100% of the time, but crit damage, well, that can go as high as you can take it. And here's a level 40 Ellen versus a level 40 Zhu Yuan, courtesy of server member Swimsuits. Thank you, buddy. So as we're still heading towards the end game and not there yet, right now for most people, Ellen's value is higher as a DPS because she's innately easier to build. She has higher base attack, she gets extra crit rate as she levels, but heading into the end game, drive disc grind, if you can build crit rate into Zhu Yuan, then as we get into that endgame drive disc farming loop, her long-term value could be higher. I will say though that Hoyo does seem to have balanced the two really well. Now let's move on. Drive discs. You have two options, either 4-piece Chaotic Metal and 2-piece Woodpecker Electro, or 4-piece Woodpecker Electro and 2-piece Chaotic Metal. I'd recommend prioritizing the Chaotic Metal as it increases ether damage and boosts crit damage as standard, but you can get extra crit damage when triggering Corruption to increase it further. And you want the Woodpecker Electro for that little bit of crit rate buff. Now, advice time. Something I heard once was stats trump sets. So that's not my advice. I can't remember where I heard it, but it always stuck with me. If you have a cracked discs that gives more crit rate than using the 2-piece Woodpecker, then you should just use that. Eventually you'll get them on set, but it shouldn't matter too much right now. That said, with 4-piece Chaotic Metal, we really want that extra crit damage. So it is kind of set over stats on that one. In terms of what stats you're looking for, you want attack, crit rate, crit damage, pen, and ether damage bonus. Mostly though, because of the aforementioned crit damage level scaling and also crit damage from Chaotic Metal, you'll likely need to prioritize a little bit of crit rate. So ideal setup would be decent stub stats across slots 1, 2, and 3, and main stat of crit rate for 4, ether damage bonus for 5, and this one really does again depend on substats and what you have, etc. But maybe a decent attack percent is going to work best on 6. Ignore my disc, by the way, definitely below average luck the last few days. Next up, Bangboos. Resonaboo is our little guy. I mean, you can read, but the breakdown is he deals ether damage and therefore is going to help you trigger Corruption more frequently. If he has 2 ether teammates, he even boosts anomaly buildup by 100% on his chain attacks. And if we recall to the drive discs with the 4-piece Chaotic Metal, which allow us to stack up additional crit rate, we feeling this one come together? Similarly, if you don't have the Boopons or Resonaboo, but you do have an A-rank Devil Boo, he's the only other Ether Bangboo, and therefore the only other one you should really consider as we want to trigger those additional corruptions. If you're going for some kind of different build with Anomaly Disorder Thang, then you could throw a relevant elemental Bangboo into the mix, as it will help build up more disorders, but I think building around Zhu's damage output is the way that most people should go. But if you did want to build into the disorder, then think about the units you're using to have your Bangboo help to trigger those anomalies. For example, if you are building for disorder and using Rena as your support, then you might want to add Plugboo, the electric one, to help you hit the shock more consistently and therefore cause more disorders. Should this be what you're doing? Should you be using Rena? No. Which brings us on perfectly to teams. Now in terms of support, we want Nicole's debuffs, and she's going to help us trigger more Corruption. And Nicole definitely benefits massively from an ether teammate because she can give an ether damage boost of 25%. Not only this, but playing Zhu Yuan with a support character raises her crit rate by 30%, which is also huge and means that You could consider other options for Nicole and still get that crit rate buff, but Nicole certainly does feel good there with the ether damage bonus too. So that's one slot taken, and the other, yeah, it's got to be Ambi for now. She stuns fools, and then we deal much more damage. Now, Nicole's passive will still be triggered by Zhu Yuan alone, so in future we could in theory switch out Ambi's spot for someone else. Yes, like Qingyi, who would also stun, and there are rumors flying about that Qingyi might work similarly with Zhu Yuan as Ben works with Khalida. In other words, when Zhu Yuan and Qingyi are played together, they could make each other better, extra moves, stuff like that. Additionally, as Zhu only needs any support to turn on her passive, her flexibility is pretty decent, so you could put her with Sakaku, and then you also use Lycan, the wolf guy, and everyone's passive is on. Will it be as good as a team with Nicole? I don't think so, but it means you have the flexibility if you need it. Okay, skill priority. You'll be using her basic attack pretty frequently, and this is where her damage scaling comes from for her shot shells, so this will be important, and you'll want to upgrade her special and chain attack ultimate too. This is probably not a surprise at all to any of you. She's DPS, we want to upgrade her damage dealing. Though this isn't to say that dodge and assist aren't useful either, because as she will have field time, she will assist potentially when your stunner or support is on field occasionally, but certainly the last two are lower priority. I guess overall, this game doesn't feel to me like others where you can just leave your normal attack at level 1, as it's so fast paced that you end up using all of them anyway. But yeah, prioritize her main damage dealing ones. Now before I move on to future value comments and summary, then I'll just quickly say, liking and subscribing really helps small channels like mine out. I appreciate you for watching this far. Just one more thing I want to cover. In terms of potential future value, Zhu Yuan's eating good. We yet to have any of her Neps teammates, but even now she still has great flexibility. She compares well with Ellen, and the crit damage scaling is going to shine deeper we go into the game. Meaning, the more you invest into her, the more favorable the comparison looks between Ellen and Zhu Yuan. I've heard others say she's ass, which I can't always argue with. But in reality, she actually slaps, and you can build her to hit like a truck. Some of my footage shown in the video, I forgot to upgrade her skills, so definitely don't make my mistake. Also, she's only level 40 with pretty mid artifacts, so her damage output can be so much better than I'm even showing here. And in terms of build, just remember you want the Chaotic Metal Drive Disc set, and you're likely going to need crit rate on your Drive Disc slot 4 because of all the bonus crit damage you're going to get anyways. Now upgrade her skills that prioritize her damage, get an E for Bangbo, and use Nicole. Did we just sum up the entire video in about one sentence? Yes we did, and that's what you get for watching till almost the end. I'd exercise some caution though if pulling on her C1 or Wenjin. If you have the pulls, I'd argue building out your roster of characters is more important. And if you want more info on that, you can click the video on screen now. And as always, if you want better than average luck on your next pulls, then remember to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you've got Zhu Yuan, you're getting her, or if you're not bothered at all and you just want to tell me you hated the MLG hype clip. I'm off to go play the dating sim with Zhu Yuan, do some testing. Bye.